Good Shabbos, everybody. It's a pleasure to have everyone here as we begin another Shabbat, the bar mitzvah of Jacob Rosenzweig. And to begin our service this evening, it's a pleasure to call upon his mother Jennifer and his grandmother Linda to help us as we bless the candles for this Shabbat. Please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen.
And you may be seated. And now let us open up our prayer books and we turn to page 5 and we begin at the bottom of the page. Shalom Aleichem, Malchei Hasharet.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Hi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Hi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Hi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Hi Melech Malachei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 11, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai.
Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Naria, Naria, Letzor Ishenu, Nekadma Panav V'toda. Naria, Naria, Letzor Ishenu, Mizmirat Naria Lo. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai. Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Lechuna Ranana, Ladonai.
And we continue now on page 14, Yismechu Hashamayim.
Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Yismechu ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, השמיים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. ירם הים, ירם הים, ירם הים, לא, ירם הים, ירם הים, ירם הים, לא, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ. ירם הים, ירם הים, ירם הים, ירם הים, ירם הים, ירם הים,
And now, as we welcomed each other and we welcomed our bar mitzvah, we welcome the Sabbath bride with the singing of Lacha Dodi, Likrat Kala, page 23.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabala. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekabala. Shamor וזכור בדיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד. אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה, ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלחקים מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. We rise and face the door, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
And you may be seated. The psalmist tells us that it's good to thank God and to sing his name most high. And so we continue now with Tov Lahadot Ladonai, page 27.
טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון בכינור. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך עליון. טוב, טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר, ולזמר, ולזמר לשמך לך עליון. טוב, טוב להודות, טוב להודות לאדוני.
Into our congregation now, we welcome those who are mourning. To those who are in mourning, we offer the words of comfort from our tradition, Hamakom Yenachem Etchem B'Toch Shar Avlei Tzion V'Yerushalayim. May God's presence bring you comfort amongst the mourners of Zion and Jerusalem. And to those who are mourning and those observing a yard site, we will now recite the Mourner's Kaddish on page 30. Yit Gadal V'Yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah V'Yalma Divrach Yerutev V'Yamlich Malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael ba'agala uvizman kariv yemru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevarach le'olam le'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha b'rechu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Da'amion ba'alma v'yemru amen. Yehei shlam arab amin shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemru amen. Osei shalom b'ramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yemru amen. We now ask everyone to rise for Baruch, page 39.
Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
You may be seated, and we'll continue with Ahavat Olam, page 40.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת, על כן אדוני אלוהינו בשוכבנו נשיח בחוקיך אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגי יומם ולילה ויאהבה לך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. Jacob leads us in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha B'chol levavecha Uv'chol nafshecha Uv'chol meyodecha V'chayu Chadvarim ha'elech Asher Anochi Metzavecha Hayom Alevavecha Vishyantam Levanecha Veivartam Ba'am Beshiftecha Veitecha Uvleftecha Avaderech Uveshofbecha Uvkumecha Ukshartam Leot Oyadecha Vechayu Totafot Beinecha וכתבת על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We continue silently in Hebrew or English to the bottom of page 42.
Adonai Elohechem
Now we sing the song our ancestors sang when they crossed the Red Sea and were back on dry land, and they were free at last from Egyptian slavery. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, God among the mighty, page 44.
Tehilot, O Seifelech, Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot, O Seifelech, Malchucha Ra'uvanecha, Bukei Ayam Lifnei Moshe. Seili, Anu ve'ameru, Molchucha ra'uvanecha, Bukei ayam lifnei Moshe. Seili, Anu ve'ameru, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mi chamocha nedar Kodesh Nora Tehilot, O Seifelech, Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nedar B'Kodesh Nora Tehilot, O Seifelech. Adonai
And now we ask God to help us lie down in peace tonight and awaken us to life renewed tomorrow. Hashkivenu, page 45.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ehamidenu malkeinu l'chayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom Ehamidenu malkeinu l'chayim Turn to page 46 as Jacob leads us in Vishamru.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat laso et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'ri'olam. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat laso et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'ri'olam. V'yuvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat laso et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'ri'olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, asa Adonai, et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat laso et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'ri'olam. Uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat laso et ha-Shabbat ledorotam b'ri'olam. Yigadol ve'yikada shemei Rabbah. Ve'yamad divrahirutei ve'yamlich malchutei. B'chai echon uvyom echon uv'chai dechol be'Yisrael. Ba'agala v'zman kari ve'imeru amen. Ba'agala v'zman kari ve'imeru amen. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorah le'olam u'lamei amaya. Yi bar
Page 51. Shalom Rav. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. V'tov b'neicha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם, תשים לעולם. Now we invite you to put your arms around each other and join in Oseh Shalom. Oseh Shalom, Oseh Shalom b'meromav, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, Shalom aleinu, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Uyaseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh Shalom, Oseh Shalom b'meromav, Uyaseh Shalom aleinu, Shalom aleinu, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru Amen. Amen. Amen.
And now let's turn our prayers to those who are ill, those who need an extra prayer, a Misha Barak prayer at this time, as we pray for their complete healing and their complete recovery. The cantor continues now with our prayer for healing, found on the inside back cover of our Sidurim.
Misha Barak avotenu, Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing for us and all of those we love. Mi shebei rachim otenu mikor habarachah lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us sing Amen.
You may be seated now as we continue with the Kaddish Shalem, page 54.
Yigdal v'kadash shemei rabbah, ve'amal divra hirtei, ve'amlich lohu hei, b'chayahonu v'yomechonu, b'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agav v'zman kariv, ve'imeru amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorah, le'al amulol me'omayach, Yibarach, v'yishtabach, v'yipar, v'yirumam, v'ynaseh, v'yichadar, v'yitala, shemei dekudesha b'richu, le'elam yikol birchata v'shirata, tushrachata v'nechemata, damram be'alma, v'yimeru amen. Tikabal salotechum, uva'utechum dechol Yisrael, kodam ovachum devishmayah, v'yimeru amen. Yehi shlam rabba midshemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yimeru amen. Osei shalom yimromav, Uyasei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimeru amen.
Job, Jacob. Excuse me, sorry. I apologize. I was saying good job, Jacob. Beautiful job so far. And congratulations again to the Rosenzweig family. And it's a pleasure to welcome all of you here in the Bark Sanctuary, and of course, all of those watching online from here in Houston and from parts all over the world. Now, as in tradition, every Friday night, my wife Lisa and I bless our children. And we move around the Shabbat dinner table, as we'll do in just an hour or so, and place our hands upon their heads and give them the traditional blessings. We also whisper in their ear something they did this week that made us proud. And we give them this blessing every Friday night that we are together, no matter what they've done, and no matter how angry they've made us, and no matter if the rooms are clean or not. I'll never forget years ago, one Friday evening, one of my children, who will remain nameless, decided not to tell us that one of our dogs decided to enjoy our Shabbat dessert early, a large chocolate cake. Instead of telling us, our child decided to join our dog and also enjoy that cake early. The kitchen, I've never seen it messier in my life. In fact, if you look closely in parts of my kitchen, I think there's still pieces of chocolate cake you can find in our kitchen. In fact, I remember when that happened, I thought about this week's command found in the Torah to stone to death a rebellious child. Yes, even with my deep frustration that evening, when the time came to bless our children, I still did. It wasn't so easy that particular Friday night, and yes, there are Friday nights where it's not easy. But we do every Friday night as we did that one night. We still did, because that's the commitment we made as parents. Every Friday night, no matter what, we stand over our children, we draw them close, and we confer upon them the ancient blessings of our people. Because love is something, according to our tradition, you don't just feel. Love is something you do. In fact, if you were to ask me what ahava, what love is, I would say that blessing loved ones on a Friday night, spouses, children, close friends, is as close as I would define love can be. Because the tradition is saying we shouldn't love someone because they are perfect or simply because they are wonderful to us or they did something for us that week. It's not conditional, it's unconditional. We love them through their mess and through their brokenness. We love them not because they make our lives better, but because they make life itself better. But my question tonight is, if we can go with the idea that this is love, then what's the opposite of love? Is it contempt? Hate? To me, the opposite of love is not hatred. It's something else. Perhaps something even worse. To find out what that is, ask any young adult who experienced a difficult childhood. And they will most likely tell you that their childhood was difficult because of the indifference of their parents. Because the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. It's to have no feeling at all. It's too many times when we see parents who neglect, avoid, or ignore. And yes, we've all had at times neglectful friends, neglectful coworkers, neglectful family members, neglectful bosses. And we know how much it can hurt. We do all we can to be who we are, to love this other person, to be there for this other person, and yet they ignore us, they avoid us, they neglect us. But my friends, how too often do we do the same? In our old world right now, I think of too many who have forgotten that apathy is the opposite of love. Maybe it's taking those who don't believe in what we believe in and turning them into nameless enemies. Maybe it's canceling out a lifetime of work because of a single gaffe. If you'd rather drop the mic on someone than drop a hand to someone, then perhaps you're acting out of the opposite of love. Maybe it's simply not caring. The great Rabbi Stephen S. Wise used to tell the story of what happened when he first visited China some years before the Second World War. At the time, the only means of transportation in China was by rickshaw. And the rickshaws were pulled by old, weak, frail people who would cough constantly as they dragged their burden. At first, the rabbi was horrified. He felt uncomfortable that his transportation should be at the cost of so much suffering by these rickshaw pullers. He found himself lying awake at night in the hotel, hearing their rasping coughs. He said this to his Chinese host, and they reassured the rabbi. They said to him, "Don't worry. In 2 more weeks, you'll get used to it. In a month, you won't even hear it." And so it was. And the rabbi said afterwards that that was the most embarrassing day of his life. How many evils, how many acts of callousness, how many acts of cruelty have we become accustomed to? We see them so often, we perhaps do them so often, that we are no longer shocked or shamed. We just turn our heads. We no longer even think of them or even notice what's going around, what's happening around us. And whether they come from loved ones or neighbors, other people at the office, other members of our synagogue family, or even strangers, do we even notice when others are in trouble? Afghanistan, Haiti, the continued violence that plagues our inner cities. Around the world today, there's an increasingly sullen sense that apathy is overtaking empathy. I think there are too many people fighting too many injustices. There are too few people fighting too many injustices that are too interwoven to easily untangle. Yet there are not too few of us. It is just too many of us spend perhaps little time looking up from what that distracts us, keeps us occupied more than ever before. in a world of binge-watching on-demand media. We're easily entertained, yet also easily distracted from what plagues the real world around us. It's never been easier to hide in our homes, be engrossed in a good Netflix series. Trust me, I'm guilty of it, just as perhaps others are as well. And as we walk through life, it's easier more than ever before not to see those small baskets of possibility floating in front of us. And we don't always notice the blows being felt by those we walk among. But perhaps if we just look up, even for a few moments, we will see the fire that does rage around us, calling for us to not only avoid danger, but to help in ways small and large to truly repair our world. Too often we forget too easily that all of us were created in the divine image, no matter who we are and where we live. My colleague, Rabbi Noah Farkas, points out something interesting about the last book of the Torah that we're currently in, the book of Deuteronomy. The Hebrew word for ahava, or love, is used more in this book than any of the 5 books of the Torah. Over and over again, Moses tries to teach our people that love is what motivates God's actions of redemption, forgiveness, and justice. Moses shows our people again that love is not just a feeling, but it's an action, it's a deed, it's something you commit, it's something you do. It's not just in your heart, but it's in your hands, it's in your feet, it's in your everyday actions. And Moses teaches that we too are expected to return God's love through our deeds by raising and teaching our children to love, of doing what is right even when we don't feel like it, even when we are exhausted, even when we have our own things to do, and to loving the stranger, the widow, and the orphan. Moses does not just tell us how and why love matters so much, but he actually gives examples. That's the beauty of the Torah, of when love matters most. Just as the cases of lost property or even the fallen donkey that needs your help to stand up. Even the animal of an enemy, we must help, because that's true love for God's creations. Love is all over this book of Deuteronomy. Just as we end the book, and just as we end the Torah, just as our people are ready to set up the first Jewish nation, so many examples of sharing our love by simply paying attention than taking action. Yes, as we move towards the new year, just a little over 2 weeks away, let us enjoy, let us cherish, let us treasure the book of Deuteronomy anew, and realize what the world needs more than anything else now is this book of love. And as we prepare for the upcoming Rosh Hashanah, let the sounds of the shofar awaken us from our slumber. Let us find our way back from apathy and cruelty and ignorance and build a world of love. Yes, that's what every parent wishes for their child. It's what I pray for every Friday night for all of us. What makes our blessing so powerful. Because through ahava, through love, we can make life itself much better. Shabbat Shalom. We're now ready to continue our service as I invite our Bat Mitzvah parents to come open the ark, and we rise for the Aleinu, page 56.
Torato, Veodatayo, Veodatayo, Vehashivo, Ta Elevaveha, Ki Adonai, Huha Elohim, Hashamayim Mima, Ve'aha Aretz, Ve'aha Aretz Mitaha, Einod, V'ne'emar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech HaKol Ha'aretz, Bayom Hahu, Bayom Hahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, Ushemo, 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 Echad.
We now turn to page 58, and we invite all those in mourning and all those observing a Yahrzeit to remain standing for the words of the mourner's Kaddish. And this week at Beth Yeshurun, we offer condolences to the families of Sam Sakowitz, Herman Litt, Jeffrey Abbott, Gabby Bronk, Jerry Danberg, Steve Levine, Leonard Mandel, and Gordon Sack. Page 58. Yitkadal v'yikadash shemei rabbah, B'yama divra hirute v'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, V'agala b'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehi shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam omea maya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach b'tba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudisha brichu, Le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, Tishbechata v'nechemata, Damiram b'yama v'yimru Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, V'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, Hu yaseh shalom, Aleinu v'yakol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. And you may be seated. So we have 6 wonderful anniversaries to celebrate this evening. First, celebrating 32 years of marriage, my colleagues, Rabbi Steve Morgan and Cantor Diane Dorff. Diane and Steve, you're very grateful that your entire family is vaccinated and thank God remained healthy. And you're also grateful for your friendships in your community. Together, you've supported each other and taken this pandemic as an opportunity to reaffirm and deepen your relationships. Only God's continued blessings, Diane and Steve, for many, many more years to come. Happy 32nd wedding anniversary. Mazel tov. Celebrating their 40th year of marriage, Lori and Benny Herzog. Yes, Mazel tov. And Lori and Benny, this past year, both of you worked from home and have spent more time together than you ever have in 40 years. And what's the secret to being happily married for 40 years? It's all the little things that we all take for granted. The simple knowing glance at dinner, laughing at the same silly stuff, traveling, spending time with family, and living by the words the two of you have always lived by. Experience the experience every day. May your daughters, your grandchildren, your entire family continue to bless you as you celebrate 40 years of marriage tonight. Mazel tov. Happy anniversary. Celebrating their 49th year of marriage, Janet and Tom McCullough. Janet and Tom, Mazel tov. You continue to enjoy many blessings, including health and family. In December, you moved to a new home closer to your 4 grandchildren, within a block of 2 of them, as well as closer here to Beth Yeshurun. And since then, you've been able to host many fun sleepovers with your precious grandchildren. Nothing better, I'm sure. You look forward to a better year ahead, and you hope you'll have an opportunity to travel more as you did this past summer to Colorado and Santa Fe. And you look forward to making it to 50 this upcoming year, and hopefully joining others on our congregational trip to Berlin and Poland next summer, God willing. Mazel tov on 49 years of marriage. Celebrating their 55th year of marriage, Elaine and Melvin Capel. Elaine and Melvin, good things have occurred. Your children and granddaughters all came into town to celebrate Melvin, your very special birthday this year. And you're also very proud of your granddaughters. You were able to attend your oldest granddaughter's wedding this summer. She graduated from Texas A&M and was accepted into UT Health Nursing Program. And we know we all need good nurses now. And your younger granddaughter is a junior at Texas A&M. May all your grandchildren continue to bless you as well as you enjoy and celebrate 55 years of marriage. Mazel tov. Congratulations. Celebrating their 58th year of marriage, Janice and David Gerber. 58 years of marriage, and God has blessed you with 10 beautiful grandchildren. In this past year, we got to celebrate the twins, their benot mitzvah, their bat mitzvah back in May, and just recently, your oldest grandson, before starting as a freshman at UCLA, he came here to spend 10 days with the two of you. What a blessing. And you feel very fortunate that you remain healthy and active and involved. As you celebrate 58 years of marriage tonight, may God continue to bless the two of you. Mazel tov on your anniversary. And our last anniversary, another big one, celebrating 59 years of marriage, Bobby and Tom Asarch. You are also extremely thankful for a very happy, healthy year, one filled with much excitement as your son made Aliyah, and 7 months later found his Beshert and got married in Israel. And you got to visit. And even though you watched the wedding on Zoom, because you couldn't get to Israel because of COVID, you did make several trips to visit grandchildren, including in Israel, where you got to see Scott and his new bride. And all in all, you spent a lot of time together, and it was perfect. And you had a lot to celebrate. As tonight you celebrate 59 years of marriage, and I look forward to the 60th next year. Mazel tov, happy anniversary. And so I want to share with you a few announcements. This is, of course, a great time of year. We have so many big events coming up, and of course, the high holidays. And it's hard to believe the high holiday season really gets going a week from tomorrow night with Slichot, the Saturday night before Rosh Hashanah. And this year, it's even earlier because Rosh Hashanah is a Monday night, Labor Day. So when Rosh Hashanah is at the beginning of the week, you do it the Saturday night before. So that's why it's next Saturday night, and we have two programs, one for our young families and one for our adults. All the information is on the website. I'd love to see you there. They're both going to be fun programs. The young family program is outside in our Beth Yeshurun Day School splash pad. The adult program begins with a great movie called Raise the Roof about the reconstruction of a synagogue, an 18th century synagogue in Poland, followed by our traditional Slichot service here in the Bark Sanctuary, where we change our Torah covers to the traditional high holiday white. And then the next morning, on Sunday, August 29th, a week from this Sunday, we have an opportunity for the first time, something new we wanted to try. Every single Beth Yeshurun family, if you like, just go to our website and sign up. And you can sign up to have a few moments of private time with one member of our clergy before the open ark here in the Bark Sanctuary. We'll have an opportunity to share some prayers together, share a few moments together, and to talk a little bit about the upcoming high holidays with those closest to you. And whether you come by yourself, your spouse, children and grandchildren, we'd love to see you here. It's next Sunday morning. Just go to our website and sign up. And it's a nice private way. We each have an opportunity to get ready spiritually for the upcoming high holidays. And that morning, you'll have an opportunity to pick up other things you may need for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. And speaking of the holidays, you should be getting this upcoming week a high holiday mailing with your tickets and everything you need to know for the high holiday services. If you don't get that mailing within a week or so, give us a call here at the synagogue office, and we'll make sure to get it to you. There's many, many programs, as I mentioned, on our website. I want to make particular light of one of them. My colleague, Rabbi Fort, is starting a new 3-part series entitled Raising Jewish Children. But this is in particular for non-Jewish parents, grandparents, and family members. So we know there are intermarried couples in our congregation who are doing a wonderful job raising Jewish children. But what special challenges do they have? What do they need to learn to help them in this special and wonderful opportunity to raise Jewish children. So join Rabbi Fort. Information is found on our website. And finally, just a reminder, our Kiddush afterwards is outside in our sukkah courtyard, but just following the advice of our medical professionals, we just ask, please do keep your mask on unless you're in the act of eating itself. So please join us outside. We'll be in the sukkah courtyard. Our wonderful catering department has put together some nice snacks for us, but just keep that mask on unless you're in the act of eating. And most importantly, my last announcement, I'm going to wish Mazel Tov to our bar mitzvah Jacob. Did a beautiful job like your brother Zachary did just a year and a half, 2 years ago. Big shoes to fill. And you did a beautiful job tonight. And not to make you nervous, but you've got a lot of people standing behind you. They're your 5th generation Beth Yeshurun member. And thank God your grandpa's here tonight, Alan, who celebrated his 83rd birthday, which of course is a very special, this year, special meaning. It's the year of our 2nd bar mitzvah. And Alan, we're glad you're feeling better. Continued refuah shlema. And of course, how blessed we are that your mother is our extraordinary program director, Jennifer Rosenzweig, as well. So it's a very special weekend here for all of us at Beth Yeshurun as we celebrate your bar mitzvah, and we look forward to celebrating tomorrow morning as you officially become one before the Torah, receiving an aliyah to the Torah, but for all of us here at Beth Yeshurun. And with that, we're ready to bring our service to a close. First, we bless our sons here or those watching online. We say to our sons, Yisimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim v'Ke'Menashe. May God bless you like Ephraim and Menashe and all the good boys of our tradition. And for our girls, we say Yisimech Elohim Ke'Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah. May God bless our girls like Sarah, Becca, Rachel, and Leah. And may God bless all of our precious young with shalom, peace always. And let us say Amen. And now to conclude our service, please rise for the Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kinshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinhilanu zikaron lema'aseh bereshit ki hu yom tehila lemikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kifanu v'harta ve'utanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinhaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom.